Hello everyone, what is happening? I'm your host Ayman Hasan and welcome back to another video here at Most Amazing Top 10. Shrek is a film I've seen more times than I care to admit, and the soundtrack was also pretty fun. You're lying if you say you never downloaded Funky Town onto your phone right after watching the film. My favorite scene was probably the end where the fairy godmother is just belting out "I Need a Hero" and all this action is just going on in the background. I feel like Mongo definitely gave Jason Statham a run for his money in terms of action stars. But before I get into the video guys, remember to like and subscribe to the channel and top 10 Hindi videos as well for more content that you guys know and love. We upload videos there every 2 days, so make sure to check it out. But let's just get into it. This is the top 10 scary Shrek theories. Starting us off at number 10 is Donkey as a real boy. Now you're probably thinking, what did she just say? How is Donkey a real boy by any stretch of the imagination? Let me tell you. I need to start this theory off by referencing another loved classic, Pinocchio. Now if you remember, in Pinocchio there's a part of the movie where some boys go to the amusement park Pleasure Island and then end up turning into donkeys. Now fans on Reddit have theorized that Donkey is one of those boys that went to Pleasure Island. Pinocchio is actually in the Shrek movie as well, and all the other characters from the movie all seem to come from other fairy tales like Three Little Pigs, etc., but Donkey is seemingly out of place. Donkey also has human-like memories of swirlies and wedgies, wherein Puss asks him more because, I mean, we're all thinking it, how can a donkey get a wedgie? And he replies, some things are better left unsaid. So in that sense, it's very plausible to say that Donkey could very well be a boy from Pinocchio. At number 9 is Fiona's curse. Now Fiona narrates to us at the beginning of the first movie that a witch put a curse on her when she was little, and that curse turns her into an ogre every single night. But we never find out who this witch is and why anyone would even do that to a harmless baby. Even when we encounter witches in the later films, we rarely ever see them actually use their magic. This theory claims that it was actually the fairy godmother, the low-key queen of all evil, who put the curse on Fiona all those years ago. She wanted her son Prince Charming to marry Fiona, but forcing that all throughout her life would just seem too planned and too riddled with other motives. So she hatched a plan to curse Fiona and get her locked away in a tower. As Prince Charming, he was expected to save her from the tower and kiss her, breaking her curse with a true love's kiss. And he's also meant to easily slip into the dragon's den and get past it, whereas many others have died trying. A bit suspicious, but of course he's able to slip through because his mum orchestrated the whole thing. Thanks, Mom. Coming at number 8 is about the other ogres. Have you ever realized the only ogres we ever see are Shrek, Fiona, who's originally human, and their kids? Is that not suspicious as hell? You're telling me from the first to the third movie we don't encounter a single other ogre other than them? I don't know why I didn't question that when I watched it the first time, but I was probably too distracted by Donkey's annoyingness to focus on anything else. This theory suggests Shrek got rid of all the other ogres before the first film even began. The only time we see other ogres is in the alternate reality in Shrek 4, but in the alternate reality the main and biggest change was that Shrek had never been born. So on one side we have Shrek alive but with no other ogres, and on the other hand we have no Shrek but the rest of the ogre species. I don't know which side to sway towards on this one. What do you guys think? Did Shrek partake in some mass genocide and kill all the other ogres, or is this theory just completely crap? At number 7 is Prince Charming's dad. I know most of us believe that the fairy godmother just magicked him into existence, but we have to look at this more literally. The theorizer and other fans have created the theory that Prince Charming did in fact have a dad. Now the main goal of the fairy godmother is to get her son married to Fiona so she becomes a lot more powerful. More so than that, she wants to take over the kingdom and destroy it as an act of revenge against the previous royal family, Queen Lillian's family. But why is she so hell-bent on doing this? I mean, relax, find a new hobby, maybe use your magic for good, I don't know. But in her defense, I guess she has a pretty good reason. According to the theory, she was shunned from far, far away because Prince Charming's dad was in fact part of the royal family. And of course no royal family ever wants anyone to air out their dirty laundry or expose the skeletons in their closet, and so they just brutally banished her from the kingdom. Talk about daddy issues. Filling in at number 6 slot are the 3 bears from Goldilocks. Now I'm gonna take you way back to before Shrek even met Donkey. The movie starts off by showing us different fairy tale characters like the three bears all locked up in cages. Note, we see Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear all at once. Fast forward to later on in the film, we see Shrek go back to the swamp and he sees a bunch of the other fairy tale characters just chilling. We see Papa Bear and we see Baby Bear, but there is no sign of Mama Bear anywhere. Where's she at? Well, the theory claims that Lord Farquaad actually murdered her and then used her skin as a rug in his palace. Talk about savage. Later on in the movie, we see this Mama Bear skin rug in the corner of his bedroom with her pink little bow and all. Absolutely harrowing. Who would have thought Shrek could double as a secret family homicide at the same time? Not me. At number 5 is the King of DULOC. Now we already know who the King of DULOC is because he's probably the shortest, most irritating fairy tale character you will ever meet with an annoyingly nice jawline. But what is up with his haircut? If you're a lord, at least get a personal stylist or a makeover. But anyway, a Reddit thread started by Ninja Breadman 00 claims that Shrek is the real King of DULOC. I feel at this point you guys probably think I'm just making all these up, but I'm legitimately not. At the end of the first film, Fiona marries Lord Farquaad and turns back into an ogre, and then he proceeds to try and kill her. Great start to the marriage. But since the marriage is legally binding, Farquaad also then technically becomes the king. Then Dragon swoops in, saves the day and eats him, and then Fiona later remarries Shrek, making her the queen and him the new King of DULOC. Wow, started from the bottom, now we really here. Coming at number 4 is the curious case of King Harold. Now at the end of Shrek 2, we see the fairy godmother hit King Harold with some fairy magic and he turns into a frog. Sad story, I know. Now most simpletons would feel bad for him and the curse that's now on him, but they'd be foolish to do so. According to this fan theory, King Harold was originally a frog to begin with and not a human at all. Years ago, this frog really wanted to marry a princess, just like the Princess and the Frog, and then he meets the fairy godmother who makes a deal with him. If she turns him into a human, his future daughter has to marry her son. Hence Prince Charming is so obsessed with Fiona. And then when he gets hit with the magic at the end, he turns back into his original frog form because Fiona doesn't want to marry Prince Charming. Myth busted. At number 3 slot now is Dragon. This theory is super far-fetched, but I thought it still deserved to be included. We were all thinking it, so I may as well just say it. How the hell did Donkey and Dragon breed? Like, how do they even have dronkies? I get that it's an animation and so it's not real, but seriously, how much can I suspend my disbelief? According to this theory, Dragon was cursed to look like a dragon when she's actually a donkey. Yeah, I'll give you a few moments to let that sink in. And continuing on. If you look at pictures of Donkey and Dragon together, Dragon's physiology is quite similar to Donkey's. Their ears and heads are the same shape and in the same place, and even her nostrils are exactly like Donkey's, and the rows of spikes along her head and neck could have been parallel to a donkey's mane. And this all also sort of explains how she was even mildly attracted to Donkey in the first place, instead of just jumping at the chance to eat him. Even when she was pregnant, we saw Donkey giving her space because she was moody, and female donkeys actually like to give birth alone away from the baby's father. So 1 + 1 equals donkey, I guess? And as for their kids, don't think I forgot that loose end. Since the curse makes her dragon appearance part of her genes, she passes it on to her kids. Now number 2 is the theory by young Stormlord about the Muffin Man, or rather what the Muffin Man could have been, and that is the ruler of Far Far Away. The Muffin Man is the baker from Drury Lane who creates live cakes and pastries in the form of gingerbread men, animals, things, you name it. He created Gingy, who is by far my favourite character, but that was probably because I just really wanted to eat him. But the theory is that the Muffin Man could have well and truly taken over Far Far Away if he wanted to, and quite easily as well. By creating an army of gingerbread men who are loyal to him, they could have induced terror in the kingdom. Even the first scene that mentions the Muffin Man has everyone shook. When Lord Farquaad realizes the Muffin Man is helping Shrek, the look on his face just says it all. He is screwed. And mind you, this is a dude who has a huge army and a bunch of creatures that'll fight for him, but that is the power of the Muffin Man. I mean, did you see the size of Mongo? For God's sake, that guy was an absolute unit. Finally, firstly, at our number 1 is Queen Lillian and Lord Farquaad. Now calm down, I'm not about to tell you a theory that somehow makes them married or reveals that these two are in fact siblings or that the FIONA'S real parents. This theory, suggested by the theorizer, great name by the way, says that Queen Lillian was the reason Lord Farquaad even chose Fiona in the first place. Lord Farquaad is given the option of a few princesses through the magic mirror like Cinderella, Snow White, etc., but he obviously ends up going with Fiona. If you've ever seen Snow White, then you know that the evil queen had the magic mirror and they both live in Far, Far Away. We as the audience have no idea where the mirror comes from, but Lord Farquaad's knights just tell him that they found it somewhere in DULOC. Well, here's the plot twist, people. Queen Lillian actually plants Fiona's image in the mirror and sends it to DULOC, a place that's coincidentally full of knights, desperately hoping and praying that one of them will rescue her poor daughter from the tower. What do you guys think? And that is all for today's video, guys. Let me know which Shrek theory was your favorite, or if you have any theories of your own. Remember to like and subscribe for more content, guys. I've been your host, Ayman Hasan, and I'll see you next time. Bye!